I'm Morgan, I'm a tattoo artist and illustrator from Bristol. I really enjoyed art at school, but I wasn't particularly good at it. It took a long time to get the hang of it. I was a really slow learner, and it took loads and loads of practice to get to a point where I felt like I got any better or liked the way that I was drawing things. I think it wasn't until maybe uni that I started to like the way I drew. All my work is monochrome, so it's more just like black and white, and I tend to fixate on lines more than I do like shading or anything like that. I studied art in Spain where I grew up, and after that I was interested in tattooing but just had no clue how to get into it. I started practicing hand poke on fruit because I'd read that was a good way to practice, and I honestly was just kind of terrified to tattoo people. I had a lot of friends offering skin, and I was just like, I don't want to do it until I feel comfortable with it. So I spent like an embarrassing amount of time tattooing fruit and lemons and grapefruit and oranges and just anything except for a human until I was like more comfortable with it, because I was just kind of terrified to do it, to be honest. It was just like a lot of practice, a lot of repetition, a lot of drawing, and just practicing, and then pursuing certificates such as like infection control or like things to do with hygiene, and then getting my tattooing license. I got to a point where some other people that ran their own studio offered me a space there, and I tattooed there for about a year, and then after that I moved to another studio that was run by a friend of mine. Stayed there for a year as well, and I decided I wanted a small space that was just for me, and I found a small studio space, opened it up. Like, it seemed like a mad idea at the time, and kind of seems like a mad idea now even though I've done it. Working in a studio where it's just me actually felt really familiar, and to me it just feels really intimate, and that's kind of what I want it to be. Hand poke is different from machine tattooing in that you don't use a machine. It is just holding a needle and dipping in ink and manually making each dot until they form a line. And you're just doing that over and over again, so the process is a lot longer. A lot of people describe the pain as being less intense. So I have ADHD and I have type 1 narcolepsy, which is also known as narcolepsy or cataplexy. So things like sleep attacks, which is like abruptly falling asleep or being overcome with sort of an irresistible desire to sleep. Microsleeps, which are that, but shorter. And excessive daytime sleepiness, which is just, being exhausted. And sometimes that can sort of hit you in one go and it sort of comes across a bit like you're drunk. Generally, while tattooing, I don't experience sleep attacks a lot. It's hard to explain, but there are some activities where I'm slightly less prone to sleep attacks, or it can feel like they come up less often. I can't really explain why that is, but I just know that from what I know about it, there are things like certain activities that stimulate my brain in a different way. It can be quite challenging, but I think I've got to a point where I know how to manage it. But also it influences the illustrations that I make quite a lot. Like, the work that I make is often related to dreams or me trying to like visually represent sensations that I've had while having a sleep attack or sleep paralysis. So there's sort of ups and downs to it. I think it's more about you deciding what you can and can't do and listening to your body and trusting your own gut. Literally everything that I have spent my whole life doing has been put into question, and I've been told I shouldn't be able to do it. And it's been hard, but I've done it. I think you can quite literally take your art and make it into a tattoo. It is a case of just like reaching out and finding resources and people willing to share their knowledge.